The engagement ring I paid for exposed her secret life with another man. I'm mid-proposal, one knee down, and she flinches like I'm offering a coupon for wedgies. Her phone lights up on the table. See you at 7. R. My brain performs the Windows error noise while I'm holding a ring I financed on my card. Vendors already paid non-refundable deposits, and my mom has embroidered napkins that say forever. This isn't heartbreak, it's an audit. Someone is using my money to sponsor a second relationship, and I'm the unwilling Patreon tier. If you've ever loved someone and also loved not being bankrupt, stay. One dusty detail on this ring outs a cheater you'd never suspect. Follow the money on her finger. It screamed. Let me sharpen it. Love is messy. Fraud is painfully simple. You trace the purchase order. The revelation isn't vibes. It's an inscription hidden inside the band and a date that already happened. The jeweler calls it a routine correction, like oopsie fonts, except the date was stamped 6 weeks before we even booked a venue. Canceling a wedding sounds like feelings, but it's contracts, reputations, and who pays for 1,000 tiny white lies shaped like candles? I'll give you the exact sentence I used at the jeweler that forced the truth out like toothpaste. 12 syllables, 0 wiggle room, and suddenly everyone's eyes got very, very interested in the carpet. What policy? What date? Which player? You're about to know all three and why my ring turned into a ledger with diamonds and a microphone. Engagement spending is up, and romance scams are surfing that wave like it's sponsored by Bad Decisions LLC. Rings aren't just sparkly. They're data sets, scratches, receipts, engraving logs, serials. Your love story has metadata, and mine started pinging like a smoke alarm in a popcorn store. So we rewind to when everything looked Pinterest perfect and see which parts were paid for by me and enjoyed by someone named R. This is the bridge from shock to timeline. Once you see the order of things, the chaos makes sense, and the jokes get dark, like my credit score for 3 weeks. Quick reset. Title card energy. The engagement ring I paid for exposed her secret life with another man. Welcome to the audit. Players, me, the spreadsheet with shoes. Her, suddenly a 5 a.m. athlete with cash-only beauty habits. The jeweler, unintentionally hilarious. The insurer, who speaks fluent actually. And R, a man who texts like a vampire RSVP. The flow is clean. What happened? Who did it? Why? Then fall out like bridal confetti in a leaf blower. We're not meandering through slow backstory. We're jogging through receipts with good posture. Money is the narrator you can trust because it doesn't tell jokes. It just shows numbers. We'll start with the ring, custom setting, her special phrase request, the timing that felt cute, and the microscopic detail that turned romance into a spreadsheet with teeth. Deep breath. Act 1 is where the pretty bow loosens and the thread snags, on insurance, policy addresses, and one suspicious font. The perfect lie and the ring. I am the least romantic you'll ever meet. I don't buy rose petals, I buy spreadsheets. I paid deposits like I was speedrunning adulthood. Venue, caterer, photographer who says candid like a threat. We agreed on modest. My modest means custom ring with good ethics and no kidney sale. I did the ring the responsible way, financing at 0%, signed like an adult, cried like a toddler after seeing the total, then took a victory lap in the jewelry store bathroom because the lighting was flattering and I needed a win. She loved the design board. I want something simple and personal. Her simple was a custom setting with a delicate hidden halo and a phrase inside the band. Always, then always. Her words, sweet, slightly cultish. I nodded like, wow, poetry, while opening a note on my phone labeled expensive love phrases. Then came the new habits. Overnight, she became a 5 a.m. fitness influencer, minus the audience. Just a gym bag that sounded like it carried kettlebells and secrets. She paid cash for every beauty appointment. Lashes, nails, hair, something called brow lamination that made her eyebrows look like they had HR policies. She had work dinners dressier than my job interviews. I asked, should I pick you up? She said, no, it's clients. Don't make it weird. I apologized to the concept of transportation and cooked myself a sad omelet. Our money rules were boring, which is how I like them. Joint savings for wedding costs. She handled rent, I handled utilities, groceries, and, minor detail, the ring. Big expenses went on my card for points because I'm a points raccoon rummaging through the trash for miles. Every Sunday, we reviewed the budget, except suddenly her Sundays got busy, and the spreadsheet started to feel like a choose-your-own-adventure where every path ended with me paying. The ring process was a montage with invoices. We picked the stone together. Nothing ostentatious, just clean, balanced, round. She kissed me in the parking lot and said, "This is our story." I tried to say something poetic. I sneezed instead. The jeweler was a gentle wizard who called prongs claws and said girdle without laughing. We approved the CAD design. She requested that inscription. We set a timeline, 2 weeks for casting, another for setting, engraving at the end. Neat, adult, controlled. Hairline crack though. She insisted on handling the ring insurance. "It's bad luck if you insure your own ring," she said, with the confidence of someone quoting folklore invented by an underwriter on vacation. I said, "We can put it under my name now and transfer later." She tilted her head. "I've got a better policy through a friend. Let me do it." I shrugged. Delegation, the silent killer of bank accounts. Social pressure turned everything into a group project we couldn't quit. My mom posted cryptic countdown tiles with doves. Her sister booked a bachelorette Airbnb you-sign for like it's a missile. Bridesmaids bought dresses that required their livers to be on board. The sunk cost wasn't money. It was everybody's feelings wearing pastels. You don't question a train when everyone's already on it taking selfies. You just hope it's headed to happily ever after and not budget hell. Meanwhile, she became allergic to shared calendars. "Stop inviting me to things on Google." "They're not invitations. They're timestamps, so we don't double book the florist in your spin class." It's controlling. I stared at my color-coded boxes like, am I the villain or just organized? Back to the jeweler. One microscopic detail set the mood for the disaster. He asked casually if we wanted the engraving in a serif to match the other one. I laughed because he said it like we were ordering the usual at a cafe. "The other what?" He corrected himself so fast his glasses fogged. "The other, option." I filed it under weird, but diamonds are intimidating. I should have felt the wobble when she kept redirecting ring pickup. "I'll go," she said. "I'm already near there for a work thing." Her work thing had become citywide. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on receipts like a dragon who rents his cave. My card statement was a tiny Greek tragedy. I was happy. I was also an unpaid intern for a relationship. Families chimed in with advice that aged like lettuce. Her aunt, "Let the bride lead. It's her season." My uncle, "Engraving is forever. Choose wisely." I wanted to say, "So is debt. Choose Visa." Instead, I smiled and carried on, a groom-shaped wallet and a nice shirt. The perfect lie worked because it looked like love. Early mornings for health, cash for confidence, dinners for career, insurance for superstition. That's the thing about romance. The red flags wear white. I didn't know yet, but our ring wasn't just jewelry. It was a ledger with claws, waiting to scratch. And the first line item was that inscription, sitting there like a quiet accountant, ready to flip the lights on. The Inscription Clue. 3 days before the proposal, the jeweler calls like he's confirming a pizza topping. Quick check on the inscription layout, phrase on top, then the second date underneath, correct? My brain trips over the word second. I keep my voice friendly. We only have one date. He backpedals so hard I hear carpet burn. Right, yes, my mistake. Just a routine correction. Ready tomorrow. Tomorrow arrives with fluorescent lighting and my smile stapled on. He presents the ring like a christening. It's beautiful, clean shoulders, the halo tucked like a secret. I ask to see the engraving because anxiety loves magnification. He hands me a loop. The phrase is there. Always, then always. Serifed, crisp, exactly as approved. Then I see it. Below the phrase, tucked like an afterthought, there's a date already in the past. Not ours, not even our month. It leans half a hair to the right, off-center like it was sprinted in at closing time. Worse, the numerals are in a thinner sans serif, like the ring forgot its dress code. My stomach drops a floor. I keep my voice even. This date seems unusual. He gives me a customer service smile that trembles around the edges. We had a surface variance during finishing and re-engraved. Nothing to worry about. Variance sounds like a salad dressing. I nod like I love vinaigrette. When was the first engraving applied? I ask, casual. He glances at the terminal. Last month. I blink. We finalized 2 weeks ago. His mouth starts a sentence and then slams the emergency exit. Let me check the work order. He vanishes behind a curtain of beadboard and gilt. He returns with the ring box closed and the paperwork neatly stacked. All set, he chirps. Translation. Please leave before my conscience melts. I pocket the box and walk out slowly, like sudden movements could spook the truth. In the car, I use my phone camera like a telescope for bad decisions. The loop reveals the micro scratch just before the numerals, like the machine hiccuped, and a tiny notch where the band's engraving pass restarted. 2 fonts, 1 phrase. A yesterday stamped into tomorrow. I replay our timeline. We approve the CAD. We pick the stone. We set the date range. And yet an earlier date lives inside this band like contraband. If I confront now, I get theater. If I collect, I get answers. I text her soft. Ring looks perfect. Might be a hair snug. Resizing? She replies instantly. Don't touch it. Bad luck to resize before the proposal. New folklore unlocked. Got it, I send, and my thumbs write down another rule. People who lie invent rituals. At home, I start a microlog because panic loves paperwork. Date, claim, artifact. Engraving, past date visible, artifact, photo with ruler. First engraving timing, claimed last month, artifact, clerk statement. I add a note. Fonts don't cheat, people do. Then I call back with my politest audit voice. Quick insurance documentation request. Can you email the final engraving layout and the work order? If there were corrections, timestamps help with warranty. He hesitates, then says the sentence that opens the floorboards. We don't usually send internal notes, but we can provide the client work orders tied to the SKU. Bingo. Great. Please provide all client work orders on this design SKU history. I pronounce each word like I'm reading a spell. He inhales. Let me ask my manager. While I wait, I pull our calendar. The engraved date lands on the night she had a client dinner. Her public story shows a clinking glass boomerang. Caption, client wins, no faces. The next morning, her best friend posted a robe and croissant breakfast from a hotel chain with marble that could testify. Same marble, she spa dayed last month. Either she vacations in bathrooms or she's patterned. Email dings. PDF arrives. The work order shows our names, the phrase, the CAD ID. A second entry is stapled to it. Same design SKU, completed 3 weeks before our approval. Client name redacted, but the pickup initials linger like perfume, RD. I feel nothing for a full second, then everything arrives. Numbers don't accuse, they align. I call the store again, voice like a librarian. To confirm, separate client records exist for that SKU, he says carefully. Yes. If asked in person, can you verify 2 orders with identical engraving language but different dates? If asked directly, he says, we can confirm order history to the client. I set the phone down and look at the ring box on the table. It gleams. It also holds a timestamp that doesn't belong to me. I am not devastated yet. I am awake. I take one more photo through the loop, catch the notch, the kerning shift, the trader numerals, and add it to the log. Denial can argue feelings. It can't debate alignment. The plan changes shape. No blow-up. No speeches. Just a sentence, a room, a SKU, and a date that answers itself. Following the paper trail. Morning arrives with coffee strong enough to notarize my suspicions. I call the jeweler in my responsible adult voice. Insurance needs the full packet. Layout approvals, corrections, timestamps, and anything tied to the SKU. He says of course, with printer fear in his throat. 10 minutes later, my inbox thuds. Work order, CAD ID, engraving approvals, and a neat line. DUP SKU REF. Notes include prior engraving removal, minor variants. Variants, my beloved salad dressing. I reply, sweet as receipts. Appreciate it. Could you send the full SKU history? Insurance hates partials. He hesitates. We generally don't. I smile into the phone. Totally fine. I'll just note SKU history exists, but is unavailable. He exhales compliance. One moment. The history lands. 3 entries. Hours. A consultation 2 months earlier, same dimensions. And a completed order 3 weeks before our CAD approval. Client redacted, but pickup initials. RD Sesame Street teaches the alphabet. Heartbreak teaches initials. I open a fresh folder named Evidence. Ring. I file everything like I'm curating a museum of quiet panic. DUP SKU page. Engraving approvals. Timestamp deltas. I annotate margins as if a board judge will grade me. First engraving predates order by 3 weeks. Different numeral font weight. Notch before numerals equals repass. Next, I test insurance. I call the carrier she touted as a friend's better policy. I put on my benign errand voice, confirming a jewelry declaration while aligning renter's coverage. They ask for a policy number. I give our address. Nothing under your name. I float hers. Click. Found it. Policyholder. Her. Address. Different location. She reads the street. Eucalyptus wafts through the phone. Anything about engraving coverage? Can't disclose specifics, but yes, engraving covered. My gratitude is polite. My notes are ruthless. I hang up and build a triage timeline. Date. Claim. Artifact. March 14th. Policy start. Artifact. Carrier confirmation. April 2nd. DUP SKU creation. Artifact. Internal code on work order. April 9th. Past date engraved. Artifact. Jeweler timestamp plus loop photo. It reads like a minimalist crime poem. I need the concierge piece without begging the concierge for souls. I call the hotel like a corporate auditor who snacks on decor. Confirming boutique hold pickups for VIP last month for reconciliation. The concierge is cheerfully discreet. 2 holds released on the 9th. Name? Cannot share. Initials? A patient pause. RD. I log it. Triangles love a third point. Her address drift needs a face. I open a delivery app, add a decoy order of artisanal hummus, and browse the building directory photo they proudly post for community. Floor 7, R. Dalton. Screenshot. File name, resident proof, 2PNG. I do not deliver hummus. I deliver consequences. I check our shared laptop. She never logs out of Chrome because hubris is ergonomic. I type ho, and the browser delivers hotel loyalty. A cached confirmation header flashes. Romantic package. Dalton. R preview only. But previews are confessions with fonts. I do not open her email. I do not need to. Headers count when patterns shout. Time for a soft verification loop with the jeweler. I call. Lullaby tone. Confirming separate client records exist for this SKU? Yes. And if asked in person, you can verify 2 orders with identical engraving language, different dates? If asked directly, yes. Translation. Bring witnesses and the magic sentence. I export everything to a redundant cloud because truth should survive spilled coffee. Folder structure. 01 underscore work orders, 02 insurance, 03 underscore hotel, 04 underscore loop, 05 underscore timeline. I create a 1-pager in normal language. What I know, the ring design was completed for RD 3 weeks before our approval. The insurer lists her at a different address. The hotel held gifts for RD on the engraved date. My ring contains that date in a different font. No adjectives. Adjectives stir excuses. Nouns end parties. I text her a breadcrumb, thinking we should list the ring under my renter's policy just until proposal. She replies with folklore. Already insured. Bad luck to double list. Cool. Policy number? Later. Running to a client dinner. Later is a landfill of accountability. I drag the chat screenshot into 06 underscore texts. Microcheck. My card shows a boutique florist charge on the engraved date. I call the shop. Confirming recipient name for a corporate reconciliation. They breathe policy at me. Can't share. Initials? RD? I taste eucalyptus again. It tastes like refunds. I email my bank's dispute desk a heads-up packet. Subject. Potential misrepresentation. Engagement ring and wedding expenses. Body. 3 bullet points, 5 exhibits. I keep it boring. Banks love boring like bees love order. Auto reply promises a case number. Bureaucracy? Sing to me? Then I set a boundary with myself. No confrontation without a question she can't dodge. I sharpen the line until it gleams. Which date is ours? It's not a speech, it's a scalpel. I call the jeweler one last time. Are you available to swing by our small ring toast for a quick clean? Good PR. He hesitates, then agrees. Marketing catnip. I tuck the loop into my pocket. I tuck the SKU history behind my ribs. I tuck my shaking into my shoes. Before I close the laptop, I record a 60-second explainer for future fallout. Hi, dates, claims, artifacts, no insults. I generate a QR code and paste it atop the 1-pager because if feelings riot, logistics need a megaphone. The folder syncs. The printer warms. The truth hums like a refrigerator. Triangles complete themselves. SKU, policy, concierge, fonts align. And me? I stop waiting for courage to feel cinematic. Courage looks like PDFs and a single, merciless question. Testing the alibi. Time to poke the balloon and listen for leaks. I start soft. Ring feels a hair snug. Let's swing by the jeweler Saturday at 2? I say it like brunch. She smiles without her eyes. Can't. Client dinner. I blink. At 2? She sips air. Pre-game. Sure. Corporate champagne warm-ups. Where? I ask. Alder and Flint, she says, like a cologne. I search while nodding. Permanently closed. Different state. Closed for years. Do they have parking? I text. She replies with a shrug and a champagne emoji. That's not an address. That's a confession in glitter. I don't argue. I pivot. Cool. We'll move the resize. Tuesday after your yoga? Perfect, she says. The studio calendar says staff training. Doors shut. Incense off. I skip the phone call. I don't need a receptionist to narrate this plot. Micro chance encounter at the grocery store. Her best friend spots me near the hummus. Party prep? Small thing, I say. She grins. Back to Laurent's? You two love that place. I tilt my head. We do? Her face tries to reverse time. I meant Lori's. The diner. The fries. I nod like fries solve crimes. Back home, the pattern clicks like a seatbelt. I log the test clean. Sat. Alder and Flint. Artifact. Closed listing. 2. Yoga, artifact, studio schedule. Screenshots go into the folder like obedient little soldiers. My computer fan hums approval. I lay bait with the ring again. Good news. Jeweler offered a free polish Saturday if we bring it by. 5 minutes. She stiffens like I said audit. Don't take it in. Bad luck before a proposal. Folklore has become duct tape. It's preventative luck, I say. I'm traveling Saturday. Last minute meeting. Where? Seattle. Round trip for dinner? Stop policing me. Not policing. Planning. She storms off. The hallway gets my best reality show whisper. You're doing amazing, sweetie. I need one confirmation she can't fog. The rideshare receipt in our family email pings my name. Saturday, pickup. The Eucalyptus building. Destination. The hotel with confessional marble. I star it, file it, breathe through the warm ache in my jaw that says keep going. Another breadcrumb. My card shows a florist charged the night of the engraved date. Bouquet size labeled grand gesture. I text lightly, did your client love the flowers? She replies, company comped. I reply with a heart and save the receipt under no they didn't. Now I push one controlled wobble. Mom wants to try dessert samples at 4 near the jeweler. Can you meet us after? Alder and Flint is 2 blocks. Easy, she pounces. Oh, they moved across town. Great. Address? Bubbles. Ellipses. I'll send a pin later. Later is where accountability retires with a view. She comes home humming that night, drops onto the couch like nothing is burning. You've been amazing. I know money's tight. I smile with my teeth. My heart feels like drywall. We're a team. I wish I didn't mean it. I do. One last outside test. I call the hotel boutique with corporate voice calm, confirming a held gift pickup date for reconciliation. The concierge cheerfully confirms 2 boxes released on the 9th. Initials? A pause long enough to change shoes. RD. I thank her and add boutique hold rd.pdf to the pile that keeps me upright. Time to trim the fat from my file. The restaurant lie stays. It's elegant. The yoga fiction is redundant. I downshift it to a line in the timeline, not a soliloquy. The friend's slip at the grocery store remains, civilian testimony with carbs. The florist charge sings. The rideshare from eucalyptus to marble, keeper. I delete 3 screenshots that repeat the same sin with worse lighting. Precision is mercy. Now I script the moment. One question only. No adjectives, no rescue lines. Which date is ours? I practice in my head while rinsing a mug. Not bitter, not bright, clear. If she answers June 12 on reflex, the room answers for me. If she dodges, the jeweler's pupils will widen and the Dubsky will walk on stage wearing a name tag. To keep my own nerves from doing parkour, I write a 60-second pep talk in the Notes app. You're not accusing, you're aligning. Ask, wait, document. I add a dumb joke because my brain likes snacks. Fonts are narcotics, addictive, and they'll ruin your night if you let them. I delete narcotics, bad analogy, and write, fonts are narcs, better. I send my best man a simple text. If I say air, hand out packets. He replies with a thumbs up and a gif of a librarian shushing a riot. Perfect. I rename the group thread Deposits Alive Again because Petty keeps me steady. She texts, I might be late Saturday. Client needs FaceTime. I respond, totally. Dessert will wait. I mark the calendar with a private note. Witnesses secured. I pack the ring, the lope, and the secu print in my jacket. I leave space for the answer to fall. Night slides in. I stand in the bathroom, watching my face rehearse neutrality. My mouth wants to smile. My eyes want to broadcast. I let both rest. Out loud, I try the line once. Which date is ours? It lands like a soft hammer. There's a second voice under it I haven't admitted yet. It whispers the scarier question I won't say in public. What if I'm wrong and I just built a guillotine out of paper? I sit with that for one breath. Then I open the folder again. Skew history. Insurer confirmation. Boutique holds. Rideshare origin. Loop photo with trader numerals and a notch like a stutter. If I'm wrong, I'm the most organized fool on the internet. If I'm right, fonts end a story that was spending my name. Either way, tomorrow I stop renting my sanity to maybe. Planning the public exposure. If you're going to light a match, do it over tile, not carpet. Translation. Make the engagement party the audit, then serve dessert. I booked the venue her cousin's love for napkin TikToks and slid one new agenda line between toasts and mini tarts. Ring moment. That's not a toast. That's discovery with canapes. Allies first. I walked into the jeweler like I was returning a library book that learned to talk. Quick favor, I said. If I ask you at our event to confirm order history on this design, will you answer plainly? He peered over his loupe like a cautious owl. If asked directly, I can confirm your order details. And the duplicate SKU? I asked, light as linen. He polished his conscience. If asked, I can confirm 2 orders exist with identical engraving language and different completion dates. Translation. Say the magic words, and my spine appears. Magic words go on a sticky note because nerves delete memory. Please provide all client work orders on this design SKU history. Sounds like soup. Unlocks a filing cabinet. Next, vendors. I called the venue with my most adult syllables. Hypothetically, if wedding budgets were misrepresented, what happens to deposits? Manager said. We have a misconduct clause. Provide clear documentation, and we can release a partial. Define clear, I said. Pretty, she said. Mine wears eyeliner, I replied. The caterer said perishables are sunk. Fine, I like capers. Photographer keeps the retainer because art needs groceries. Fair. Chargebacks are calendars with knives. I mapped windows. Ring financing dispute, card issuer deadlines, vendor cancellation cliffs. I drafted letters so polite they curtsy. Enclosed, please find documented irregularities in order chronology and policy address. Each got exhibits. Banks like exhibits, like toddlers, like snacks. Then I installed a trapdoor. I moved joint funds for wedding miscellany into a high yield in my name, documenting each transfer with subject lines like budget rollover per shared clause. Enough left to avoid overdrafts. No one needs a declined manicure. Receipts saved in the folder named Not Today. The bait needed an irresistible shine. I asked the jeweler to add a microscopic divider line beneath the phrase so the layout visually begged for a date. Phrase, then date slot. Fill it wrong. Show your work. He nodded like he'd just been cast in a morality play. Invites went out with 1 indulgence, plus ones. Her mother added, industry friends. I did not remove R. Dalton. I wanted geometry. 2 points already plotted, 1 doorway for timing. If he arrived, the room would draw its own triangle. I built the reveal skeleton. Step 1. Short toast to gratitude and desserts. Step 2. Jeweler cleans the ring so it sparkles like truth in daylight. Step 3. I hand her the band. Read your phrase. Applause. Then the scalpel and the date. If autopilot speaks June 12, the room hears it, not me. If she dodges, the SKU history says hello, and the insurer's eucalyptus address waves. Backups on backups, because chaos loves dead batteries. I printed packets. Work orders with DUP SKU. Jeweler timestamp notes. Insurer call log summary. Hotel boutique confirmation of RD pickup. Rideshare origin from the eucalyptus building. Florist receipt labeled grand gesture. Loop photo with trader numerals and the notch. Cover page. QR code to a 60-second timeline video narrated in librarian. I labeled envelopes bride's family, my family, venue, photographer. My best man got simple instructions. If I say air, hand these out like Oprah with boundaries. I called my bank. A fraud-adjacent dispute may land. The agent asked for documentation. I smiled like a file cabinet. You will receive a museum, she whispered. I hope you win. Which isn't policy, but feels like hydration. Social blast template ready. Event canceled. Deposits resolving. Details private. I prayed not to use it that night. Public mess is sticky. I prefer the kind that rinses. I rehearsed the single line until it stopped tasting like fear. Which date is ours? Not an accusation. An alignment check. I practiced neutral face. The still water that reflects anything dropped into it. I added 1 sentence to my notes pep talk. You're not there to convince. You're there to confirm. Stakes check. Clean and unforgiving. If I'm wrong, I become a parable with excellent kerning. If I'm right, I stop financing a fog machine. Numbers don't do theater, they bring chairs. I set my phone to auto backup photos and audio to the cloud, then borrowed a lav mic from a groomsman who podcasts about sourdough. Not for a takedown, just to catch the jeweler's confirmation without arguing about acoustics. Consent matters. Chaos, less so. He'd already agreed to speak if asked. I added a tiny mercy. After the reveal, dessert arrives immediately. Sugar patches social holes. Mini tarts can't fix betrayal, but they do keep ants from fainting on the florist. Night before, I laid it all out. Suit, loop, ring, sticky note with the magic soup phrase, packets under a scarf in my bag. I tested the QR twice. I printed 1 extra envelope labeled her, containing only the 1-page timeline without commentary. She deserved the facts, not my adjectives. Then I looked in the mirror, asked the question out loud, and listened to the silence answer. Which date is ours? Tomorrow, fonts would talk. I wouldn't need to. The party in the tell. The party looks like a Pinterest board swallowed a credit limit. String lights, charcuterie that requires a legend, champagne rehearsing rebellion in slender flutes. Phones up everywhere, her friends filming like they're directing a perfume ad. I smile, circulate, pretend my jacket isn't carrying a loop, a SKU print, and a single sharpened sentence. She glides in. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, The kind of smile that can pass a background check. She kisses my cheek. Can you believe it's all for us? My brain says, for us adjacent. Out loud, wild. I clink a glass like a man about to ask a simple question at an inconvenient volume. Short toast. Gratitude, community, dessert is soon because I'm not a tyrant. Laughter. Cameras rise. I pivot. Before dessert, a quick polish. The jeweler appears on cue with a cloth and nervous optimism. He buffs. The ring eats light. I take it back, turn to her. Read your phrase? Her smile stutters one frame. She holds out her hand. I place the band like a microphone with teeth. Silence leans in. She lifts the ring, breathes shallow. Her eyes ping the doorway. Timing hates me and loves theater. R slips in, late, tall, oiled confidence. A boutique bag snagging a chair on entry. He wrestles free with a shrug he's practiced. Her gaze ricochets. Ring, me, floor, doorway. Always, then always, she reads, airy. Applause sprinkles the room. I lower my voice just enough for every mic to adore me. And the date? Silence pauses the goat cheese. She squints. Autopilot grabs the wheel. June T. Redo. A hiccup. Swallow. June 12. Not our month. Not our life. I nod once like I just recognized a childhood jingle. I ease the ring back from her hand, set it in my palm. Which date is ours? Same tone you'd use to ask still or sparkling. Neutral as a scalpel. Her eyes yank to the doorway again. R tries to disappear while dressed like a brochure. Someone breathes. Is that? And swallows the rest because theater has rules. She pivots to plausible. It's a test engraving, she says lightly. They must have used a sample date. The jeweler's neck clears its throat. Head swivel to him like he's Siri. He polishes air. I keep small. So June 12 is a sample? She smiles too wide. Obviously. She adds a shrug that says, don't be weird. Live flavor. Citrus with panic. I don't look at the jeweler. I aim my voice near him. Would you mind confirming the layout? His consonants arrive with paper cuts. She lunges. No need. We trust you. Which is what you say when invoices are about to file a complaint. Phones lower a few inches, hunting focus. I hold the ring to the light. Always, then always, I read. I pass her the loop, gentle. Would you read the numerals again? Her hand trembles. It's June 12. Cameras catch the micro flinch, truth noticing itself in public. R coughs into a fist, steps forward half an inch, bag thumping his shin. Her eyes whip to him. Not stranger energy, co-author energy. I set the open ring box on the table, like a tiny stage for ugly honesty. I slide it toward her. Repeat, softer. Which date is ours? Soft is a siren. She reaches for air. We discussed dates. We were flexible. Someone's aunt whispers, not that flexible. Laughter tries to escape and gets tackled by manners. A seam pops in the silence. She goes for authority. This is a misunderstanding. Her voice is thinner than the sans serif that betrayed her. The spell breaks quietly, like a heel cracking on tile. I lift a folder from the dessert table and place it beside the macarons. Since we're alphabetizing feelings, let's sort exhibits. My best man already moved to my shoulder like a loyal, well-trained Labrador in a suit. Work orders, I say, holding a printout high enough for the front row. Design SKU, our names, our phrase. And here, same SKU, prior completion, 3 weeks before our approval. DUPCUREF noted. The room tilts toward me 1 inch, like boats aligning to a tide. The jeweler finds a spine. I can confirm 2 orders for that design, he says, scalp sweating through bravado. Identical engraving language, different completion dates. Her mother rises, voice tight. What is this? I flip a page. Insurer confirmation. Policyholder her. Address not ours. Start date predating our order. A bridesmaid sucks air through teeth. Eucalyptus is practically audible. I lift the boutique receipt. Gift boxes held at the hotel concierge. Release on the 9th. I aim an eyebrow at fate. Initials RD. A best friend makes a sound. Like a balloon giving up, R decides to exist. He frees his bag from the chair with a small, humiliating squeak and says, smooth as moisturizer. I commissioned first. June 12 was our trip. Heads swivel like owls in a documentary. A cousin drops a cracker that dies poetically on marble. She hisses, don't. He shrugs, apologetic jazz hands. He asks. He looks at me. We didn't intend to hurt you. I blink. You intended to what? Split invoices and a calendar? Her father points at me. You can't humiliate her. I nod, calm. I'm reconciling. Numbers don't humiliate, they align. He opens, then closes his mouth at the packet title. Dates, claims, artifacts. And the ring? I ask the jeweler. He nods. Return acceptable for refund review. I place the ring in the box, close it like a coda, slide it toward him. Chain of custody text going out now. My best man taps. Send in our thread labeled deposits. Alive again. I turn to the room. If you filmed, blur faces when you inevitably text your cousins. To vendors present, notices are in your inboxes. The florist raises a hand. I brought extra greenery if you need to stage a boundary. Leave a fern by the exit, I say, because survival appreciates decor. She reaches for my hand, mascara hanging on like a climber. We can fix this. We'll pick a new date. I nod toward the band. The band already has one. I step back one pace. Space appears where a future used to be. I give the smallest bow to a crowd I never auditioned for. Dessert is still coming. Take care of yourselves and your receipts. Receipts, witnesses, and the other man. I don't raise a hand. I raise a folder. Since we're already alphabetizing feelings, let's sort exhibits. My best man slides the packet onto the dessert table like a polite guillotine. Work orders first, I say, lifting page 1. Design, SKU, hours. Phrase, hers. Now, same SKU, earlier completion, 3 weeks before our approval. Note reads, Dup SKU, Ritzo. I tap the line. The room leans forward like it's listening for thunder. The jeweler inhales accountability. I can confirm 2 orders for this design, he says, voice steadier now. Identical engraving language, different completion dates. He swallows. The earlier date belongs to the first order. Her mother grips a flute. This is inappropriate. I flip to page 2. Insurer confirmation. Policyholder. Her. Address. Eucalyptus Tower. Policy start date. Predates our order. A bridesmaid whispers, oh, like she just remembered a scent. I hold up the boutique receipt. Hotel concierge held 2 boxes for VIP pickup on the 9th. I angle the initialed line. RD. Her best friend makes a sound like a balloon surrendering. I keep it gentle. 1 more. The rideshare receipt. Pickup. Eucalyptus building. Destination. The Marble Hotel. Same night as the engraved date. I set it down beside the macarons. The almond shells suddenly look judgmental. R clears his throat, steps forward. Boutique bag thunking a chair leg again. I commissioned first, he says, smoothing his expression like moisturizer. June 12 was our trip. Head swivel, collective owl. A cousin drops a cracker. It dies bravely. She hisses. Stop talking. He shrugs. Helpless jazz. He asked. He meets my eyes. We didn't mean to hurt you. I tilt my head. You meant to what? Split invoices and a heartbeat? Her father points at me. You planned this to humiliate her. I nod once. I plan to reconcile the books in front of the people those books affected. Numbers don't humiliate. They align. He opens his mouth, sees the packet title, dates, claims, artifacts, and closes it like a cabinet. I gesture to the jeweler. Timing? He steadies. The first engraving was applied last month. And our CAD approval? 2 weeks later. He stares at his shoes like they've become attorneys. She reaches for narrative. It's a misunderstanding. I nod to the ring box, then read our date. Silence lifts its hand like a teacher. She doesn't move. I slide envelopes to my best man. Air. He starts distribution. Bride's family, my family, venue, photographer. Murmurs strain through paper. A groomsman whispers. He made a QR. I nod. I make grief accessible. I hold up the loop photo, blown up, trader numerals, and the tiny notch where the engraver restarted. Different font weight on the numerals. Micro scratch before the date. Evidence of removal and repass. You don't have to believe me. Trust the alignment. The florist, who came for ambience and stayed for court, lifts a hand. Do we need more greenery for boundaries? Laughter leaks, guilty but grateful. Fern by the exit, I say. R tries a final pivot. She was unhappy. I exhale. Then she could have ended it before underwriting a second story with my deposits. He flinches like the word per contracts and documentation already submitted. The venue will release a partial. The caterer refunds perishables minus waste, photographer. Keeps the retainer because art eats. Heads nod. We're doing triage with cake nearby. Her mother clutches pearls that look like they're reconsidering employment. We can handle this privately. I nod. You can handle feelings privately. Money is public when it's shared. I slide the ring to the jeweler. Return for refund review. He nods, logs the chain of custody on his phone. My best man hits send in deposits. Alive again. Devices ding like polite bells. I look at her. I'll courier things tomorrow. If you think of something I missed, text a list. No dialogue. Logistics only. Her eyes brim. Mascara clings like a rock climber. Please. I soften without stepping closer. I'm not doing this to you. I'm stopping doing this for you. A hush settles. It's not triumph. It's paperwork, finishing a sentence. I breathe once, slow. Then I address the cameras, because of course there are cameras. If you post, blur faces. Remove names. Keep documents intact if you include them. Evidence matters. Spectacle doesn't. Our edge is backward. Boutique bags swinging like a bell with poor timing. Someone's uncle mutters, "He brought soap to a spreadsheet fight." I glance at the QR on the packets. There's a 60-second timeline if reading is too much tonight. Dates, claims, artifacts. No adjectives. A cousin already has it open. I hear my own calm voice narrating from her phone. The jeweler clears his throat one last time. For clarity, the phrase was identical on both orders. He looks at her. The date you read corresponds to the first order. His words land like mild rain that ruins a picnic anyway. I nod, small. Thank you. I face the room. Dessert is coming now. Eat something. Hydration is free. I'm going to step outside and breathe air that doesn't smell like eucalyptus. I look at her, just once more. Which date is ours? She doesn't answer. The silence does. I turn, and the party exhales, uneven, human, loud around the edges. Behind me, packets shuffle, cameras lower, forks find tarts, and a fern appears by the exit like a tiny, leafy bouncer. Financial retribution begins. Morning hits like a spreadsheet with coffee. No speeches, just sequence. Chargebacks first. I call the ring financer in my calmest adult tone. Misrepresentation and duplicate skew, I say. She asks for evidence. I email the packet. DUP shoe, jeweler confirmation, loop photo, insurer mismatch, boutique holds, rideshare origin. She whispers, "I'm rooting for you," which isn't policy, but tastes like oxygen. Account. Placed in hold, interest paused, investigation opened. Small mercy rings a bell in my chest. Next, vendor card disputes. Subject lines wear suits. Documentation. Misrepresentation of goods/services. I attach exhibits like pearls, work orders, insurer declaration summary, concierge initials RD. I include the 60-second QR because even processors prefer pictures. Provisional credits ping. Temporary money is still money. I'll babysit it anyway. Demand letter time. Tone. Lawful. Unloud. Please remit your half of shared expenses used for non-relationship activities. Line items list themselves. Hotel boutique VIP holds, flower purchases labeled grand gesture, rideshare tied to eucalyptus, fake restaurant pregame, work dinners that were room service with a view. Due date set. ICC counsel at friend because she delights in commas and justice. Vendors roll like weather. Venue. Per misconduct clause, partial refund authorized, 60%. I do a tiny kitchen fist pump at my toaster. Caterer. Refund less perishables and labor already incurred. I offer to purchase panic capers. They laugh, then actually refund more than I expected. DJ. Store credit for a future block party. I bookmark healing with horns for later. I forward outcomes to my best man with one line. Deposits. Alive. He replies with a gif of a phoenix holding receipts. I name a new folder, recovery, and start filing confirmations. It feels like unpacking grief into labeled boxes. Blowback arrives with glitter and caps lock. Her cousin texts the group. He ambushed her, screenshotting my packet like it committed treason. My friend replies, "Exhibits aren't an ambush, they're a mirror." I mute the thread and eat a grape with malice. Petty is my electrolyte. She posts a notes app square. Apologies to those hurt by the timing. Timing? The date was engraved. R posts a grayscale selfie captioned, "Do better." From my Finsta, I comment, "Start with addresses." He deletes it, which means he read it twice. I notify the insurer formally. Potential competing ownership and fraudulent address on subject ring. Please place claim lock. The rep says, "We flagged the policy pending documentation." I imagine a tiny actuarial gavel hitting eucalyptus. Her mother calls in yard sale tone. "If you stop publicizing, we'll settle privately." "You mean quietly?" I say. "No." She tries guilt. "Family is everything." "Integrity pays the invoices," I answer. Silence. Click. Peace. R texts. From a number labeled probably mistake. "Let's resolve without lawyers." "Great," I reply. "Begin by remitting your share of hotel and boutique charges you enjoyed." He sends a thumbs up, then a Venmo request for emotional damages. I block him and donate $5 to trees out of spite and ecology. Bank emails stack like coasters. Card issuer. Provisional credits posted. Ring financer. Interest reversed pending adjudication. Statement hold applied. I exhale a month's worth of tightness I didn't know I was wearing. I mark deadlines in teal because teal forgives. I ship her a physical demand letter by certified mail. Tracking numbers are romance for accountants. Inside, the clean ledger, tabs, shared, her, not work. I include a pre-stamped envelope because generosity photographs well in court. My lawyer friend underlines 2 lines, sends back a heart and a knife emoji. She loves a tidy war. Messages trickle in from strangers who watched cousins text. My ex insured a jet ski at his girlfriend's house. My fiancée had 2 rings. I reply with the only gospel I have. Screenshots save lives. Midweek, a refund lands from the venue like a soft meteor. I move it to recovery, label the transfer note, return to sender, sanity. The florist emails, store credit. I buy a plant and name it Boundaries 2. Place it near the first. They lean toward light like it owes them. I draft a clean 1-sentence statement for family. Event canceled. Deposits resolving. Details private. I send it once. When asked for tea, I pour policy. People get bored. Banks don't. In quieter hours, I tidy the ledger of me. Close joint auto pays. Reroute utilities to my name. Change 2 passwords she guessed with ease. I set alerts on every shared account we're unwinding. Each ping is a small door locking. She replies at last, text storming. You're cruel. You humiliated me. My family is devastated. I send 1 line back. Return misused funds. Then we can discuss feelings. She types a paragraph about love not being a ledger. I send the ledger. Read. No reply. My heart files that under accurate silence. R vanishes in the only dialect I trust, money. Public records show the eucalyptus lease application updating. Her name disappears like a stain under club soda. Her grid swaps yachts for quotes about growth. Mine swaps panic playlists for instrumentals with no words to trip on. By Friday, the bruise of the week starts to yellow. The big chunks stabilized, the small drips still incoming. Interest reversed, charges in review, deposits revived. The ring sleeps in a jeweler's safe under a camera and a conscience. My apartment breathes. The plant named Boundaries drinks sun like it earned dividends. So did I. The cost of silence and the red flags. Here's the invoice silence mailed me. Late fees on dignity, compounding interest on hope, and a convenience charge every time I said, it's fine. Silence rinsed to doubt. Doubt sublets to nonsense. I kept the peace, and the peace redecorated my head in beige. If I'd stacked the flags sooner, I could have canceled earlier with less glitter on the floor. Flag 1, sudden cash-only beauty like the IRS audits acrylics. It's just easier, she said. Translation: receipts become witnesses. Flag 2, schedule fog. Work dinners at hours when kitchens yawn, alibis with sequins. Flag 3, insurance control cloaked as superstition. Bad luck if you insure your own ring. Luck is not an underwriter. Flag 4, address creep. Policies blooming at eucalyptus towers we don't live in. Flag 5, calendar evasion. Stop inviting me on Google, which is liar for don't timestamp me. Flag 6, charges labeled hospitality that don't smell like food. Flag 7, you're being controlling when you're being curious. Tiny lies accrued like a store card you forgot to shred. Client sent flowers. Cool, my card did. Pre-gaming a client dinner. That's just drinking near a problem. Don't take the ring in, because metal keeps minutes. Each swallowable. Together a choir that couldn't sing on key. Why did I let it linger? Because spreadsheets don't hug. Because you'd rather be naive than alone at brunch. Because sunk costs aren't just money. They're dresses, playlists, and your mother saying, I told the church. I told myself I was protecting love. Really, I was protecting investments that didn't love me back. So I wrote new rules and taped them to my life like emergency exits. Separate personal accounts for joy without audits. One joint for shared bills with both notifications on. Neither of us the boss, both of us the board. Any spend over an agreed number pings the other like a friendly smoke alarm. Contracts carry the payer's name. Deposits equal signatures, not vibes. Engraving saved before metal meets skin. Insurance registered to the payer's legal address until vows or lawyers say otherwise. We run the romance like a small nonprofit. Transparent, boring, solvent. Micro stories remind me where the slope begins. She once lost a hair spa receipt. I found the bag in the trunk with tissue paper that felt like shame. She borrowed my card for gas. The charge came from floristry. Apology tier. She said Pilates. Her location pinged at a steakhouse mirror that sees things no therapist should. None of it felony. All of it friction. I used to think revenge was the point. It's not. Revenge keeps you orbiting their gravity. Recovery is the meaner kindness. You take back time, money, narrative. You stop writing sonnets to sunk costs. You untag yourself from a future you were barely invited to. I called a therapist and said, I'd like to stop confusing avoidance with kindness. She nodded like rain on a window and told me to make a rule I could say without swallowing. I wrote 3 on a sticky note and stuck them by the tomato magnet. Ask twice, verify once. If it's secret, it's a signal. If it's urgent and expensive, it's no. I practice out loud in the kitchen so my mouth knows them when my heart forgets. People hear audit and think cuffs. I hear oxygen. Audit is how you breathe when fog pretends to be mood lighting. If a partner says audits ruin the vibe, ask whose vibe depends on fog. If it's yours, breathe slower. If it's theirs, buy a fan. I boxed her last things with labels that made sense to the future. Closet, formal. Desk, stationery plus skincare that promises new souls. Bathroom, serums that want to be gods. I wrote unclaimed on one, me on another. The me box held my weekends, a password manager, a playlist with no songs that apologize. Boundaries, 2 drank sun and didn't say sorry. I started practicing small transparency with friends the way I should have with love. Can we split? Here's the receipt. Here's the doc. It felt dorky and clean. Dorky and clean pays on time. The red flags weren't red. They were tasteful burgundy that matched the napkins. They hid in, she's busy, I'm supportive, and it's just money. Silence let my gut outsource itself to hope. Noise brought clarity. Clarity is not romantic. It is on time. So here's a petty, tender checklist I wish I'd laminated. Abrupt cash-only habits. Calendar fog rolling in after questions. Friend insurance policies you never see. Addresses that don't match your fridge. New passwords paired with security sermons. Hospitality charges that taste like rooms, not meals. And the sentence, you're controlling, used as bug spray on curiosity. If 2 or more appear, pause the poetry. Ask for artifacts. People who tell the truth forward things fast. I'm not the IRS with cufflinks. I'm a guy who wants his name to mean the same thing on paper as it does out loud. I want always, then always to clear accounting. I want love that hands me the policy number before I ask. I want romance that survives a loop. I'm funny again. I'm solvent. And when my brain whispers, but what if she just needed space? I look at boundaries too, reaching for the window and say, so did I. Then I set a reminder on my phone titled, very simply, read the contract. Closure without contact. Closure didn't arrive with fireworks. It showed up in a manila envelope. I wrote the no contact letter like I was canceling a gym. Polite, final, allergic to loopholes. Effective immediately, no further direct communication. Logistics via courier or counsel only. I initialed every page because pens keep better promises than people. I slid it into an envelope that felt like a door. I boxed her things with museum labels. Closet, formal. Desk, stationery plus skincare that thinks it's a life coach. Bathroom, serums that swear they can fix mornings. I added a manifest because logistics soothe me. The courier glanced at the stack. Breakup? Budget reallocation, I said. He nodded like I'd taught him a trade. One last stop at the jeweler. We signed the ring return acknowledgement. His signature, mine, date, time, chain of custody like we were surrendering a small, sparkly witness. He said, I'm sorry. I said, me too. And thank you for fonts. He locked the box in the safe. The click sounded like a period. Legal wrap, the remix. I emailed the settlement outline to her counsel. R's friend who knows law. Bullet points, clean numbers, grace measured with a scale. Deposits credited. X. Remaining joint balance. Y. Personal reimbursements owed from her ledger. Z. Exhibits attached. They tried to haggle with vibes. I replied with dates. Vibes lost. Signatures happened in eDocs because software prevents parking lot monologues. Checkboxes popped up like tiny therapists. I have read. I understand. I agree. I clicked my greens. Her greens appeared one by one, like polite rain. The system spit out completed. Something in my shoulders let go that had been gripping since June 12. I posted one community statement, short and boring on purpose. Event canceled. Deposits resolving. Details private. No wolves, no growth quotes. I turned off replies. People tried to manufacture a sequel in my DMs. I starved it. No contact isn't punishment. It's pest control. R popped up with 3 words. She's struggling, man. I stared at it like it was written by a pothole. I archived the chat. The urge to reply buzzed like a mosquito. I let it die in the room. Ritual matters because brains need ceremony. I pulled our photos off the fridge, engagement smiles, brunches, a selfie where we looked like 2 days shipping for happiness. No bonfire, fire begs for witnesses. The envelope went in a drawer labeled taxes, where joy sleeps and auditors fear to tread. I cleaned the calendar like it owed me air. Goodbye, cake tasting 2, Dove release demo, marriage license appointment, which I renamed paperwork I don't need. I unsynced her from my events. Watching my week open was like finding a secret room in my own apartment. The windows faced me. I turned the tux rental credit into a ridiculous suit because joy fits better when it's overdressed. I grabbed 2 tickets to a comedy show and texted my best man. "Are hecklers allowed?" he asked. "I brought one," I said, and we laughed until it felt like cardio for grief. Nights were loud at first. I didn't stuff the quiet with podcasts. I let it thud around until it stopped sounding like absence and started sounding like a room I own. I cooked dinner for one and set the table like a guest might arrive. A guest did. Me, unlate, under budget. Relief didn't trumpet. It updated silently. I woke without checking locations because my phone wasn't haunted. I walked past the eucalyptus building and smelled nothing but street air. I passed the jewelry store, waved at the wizard, and kept walking, pockets light, spine lighter. I wrote a final logistics email to her counsel. Refunds processed, balances settled, courier scheduled. Attached. One last ledger with 3 words in the corner. Paid, filed, quiet. I closed the laptop like a book that finally knew its last page. Then I stood in the kitchen and said the scary part out loud so it wouldn't echo anymore. I was afraid I'd be wrong. The plant named boundaries tilted toward light like it understood. I exhaled. Fonts didn't lie. The ring didn't lie. I did, to myself, trying to keep peace that wasn't mine. I folded the no-contact copy and slid it behind the tomato magnet with my rules. Ask twice, verify once. If it's secret, it's a signal. If it's urgent and expensive, it's no. I added a 4th line, quiet and practical. If you need closure, use a courier. I washed the last champagne flute from the party that wasn't. Water hissed. Glass cleared. Somewhere, a refund posted. Somewhere else, a story about me grew teeth and then got bored. My apartment hummed like a well-behaved refrigerator. My name felt the same on paper as it did in my mouth. Closure didn't clap. It balanced. That was enough. Practical playbook. Protect your wallet from romantic fraud. All right, toolkit time. Short, sharp, and usable tomorrow morning. Not romance killer rules, romance seatbelts. You don't install airbags because you plan to crash. You install them because other drivers text. Start with one boring coffee date called Money Talk. Full legal names, not the cute ones. Trade credit summaries or soft pulls side by side. List active debts, subscriptions, and recurring self-care that mysteriously invoices you. You're not hunting gotchas. You're confirming you share a planet. If the conversation makes them itchy, that itch is data. Set lanes. 2 personal accounts for joy without audits. 1 joint account for shared bills only. Turn on push notifications so both phones ping when joint money moves. Agree on a number. Anything over that pings first, buys second. It's not permission, it's headlights. Admin the ring like it's a small airplane. Before engraving, get the CAD with the exact inscription and font. Save the approval email. Ask for the order's SKU and write it somewhere not named Vibes. At pickup, glance through a loop for alignment and font weight. Then say the librarian spell. Please provide all client work orders on this design SKU history. If pupils dilate, you hit the truth button. If they refuse, smile and note SKU history exists but unavailable in an email to yourself. Managers respect paper more than charm. Insurance needs grown-up posture. Whoever pays insures until a marriage certificate or a written agreement moves it. The declaration page lives in a shared drive called Ring, admin, not base stuff. The insured address must match a current legal residence you can find on your mail, not a eucalyptus lobby. A friend has a better policy is not a policy. No declaration page, no diamond leaving the house. Vendor discipline saves weekends. Law of deposits, your name, your contract. If your card touches a retainer, your signature sits on the agreement. CC each other on every booking email. Use a single wedding inbox so the paper trail doesn't sleep on someone's moody phone. Keep a shared spreadsheet with 3 columns. Deposit date, cancellation deadline, refund terms. Add a 4th called consequences. What happens if we cancel? You'll sleep better or cancel faster. Evidence is a love language. Replace vibes with artifacts, screenshots with dates, PDFs over they said, microlog format, date, claim, artifact. 3 lines beat 3 hours of circular apology. Back it up to the cloud and 1 boring friend who can keep a secret and a password. Name the folder something unsexy like administrative tulips so nosy people scroll past. If your gut whispers, don't accuse, request. Forward the insurance declaration. Share the vendor contract. I'll add my emergency contact. Drop me the appraisal PDF so I can store it. The speed and quality of the forward tells you more than the speech. Honest people love attachments. Dishonest people love folklore. Red flags that deserve a pause, not a fight. Sudden cash-only habits for recurring services. Calendar fog that rolls in right after questions. Solo control of big-ticket insurance. Addresses that don't match your fridge. New passwords paired with long security sermons. Hospitality charges that smell like rooms, not meals. You're controlling when you're being curious. 2 flags? Slow down. 3? Audit. 4? Stop paying. If the crack becomes a canyon, reclaim an order. 1. The ring. Return, hold, or secure appraisal and SKU docs. 2. Deposits. Pull contracts. Highlight misconduct or misrepresentation clauses, and email vendor documentation with your exhibits. 3. Add-ons. Boutique, VIP, anything. Room service disguised as work dinner. Floral apologies big enough to need a forklift. File chargebacks within windows. Those windows slam. Use bank-friendly words. Duplicate order, misrepresentation, policy conflict, non-matching address, competing ownership. Attach exhibits like you're applying to college and your major is boundaries. Social survival matters. 1 sentence to family. Event canceled. Deposits resolving. Details private. 1 sentence to friends. Appreciate you, not discussing. Send memes. People tire of mysteries they can't fix. Let them. Prenup energy, even without the paper. Write a 1-page expectations doc you both sign. Bullets, not poetry. Deposits require signatures from payer. Joint account is for bills only. Purchases over Xping first. Insurance declarations are shared. Engraving saved before metal touches skin. Audits monthly, with wine and dessert so it doesn't feel like a tax seminar. If you must reveal dishonesty, prefer private with a witness. If public is unavoidable, keep it clean. 1 artifact, 1 question. Which date is ours? No adjectives. Let the room do the math. Record to protect clarity, not to farm chaos. Blur faces if you ever share. Evidence persuades. Spectacle backfires. Etiquette for refunds. Be polite, thorough, and fast. Vendors aren't villains. They're timelines and pants. Lead with documentation, not despair. Offer to accept partials when clauses demand. Say thank you out loud. You'll be surprised how many doors open for calm people with PDFs. Final fridge rules, short enough to memorize. Ask twice, verify once. If it's secret, it's a signal. If it's urgent and expensive, it's no. Add a quiet 4th. If it needs trust, give it a document. Process won't kill romance. It just makes sure the ring on your finger isn't telling someone else's story. Let me close the loop clean. The lever wasn't rage. It was a sentence. Please provide all client work orders on this design SKU history. That 1 line turned a romance into a ledger. Jewelers file by design, not feelings. A SKU is a fingerprint that doesn't care about who cried in parking lots. Pair that with engraving logs, font, size, pass count, date applied, date removed, and you get a timeline that refuses to blink. Here's why the inscription mattered. Engravings are supposed to be the last touch, a seal on the story. When a date already lived inside the band, then got sanded out and replaced with our nothing, it told on itself in 3 ways. The thinner font weight on the numerals, the hairline notch where the machine resumed, and the jeweler timestamp that didn't match our CAD approval. Fonts don't have alibis, they have metrics. I matched that with insurance. Policies are boring truth machines. Declaration pages list the holder, address, start date, coverage specifics, including engraving. Her policy began before our order existed and lived at an address that smelled like eucalyptus and denial. That triangulated with the hotel boutique's VIP hold and the concierge confirming RD picked up presents on the engraved date. Triangle complete. SKU history, insurer declaration, concierge initials. Feelings could hiss. Documentation made a shape. At the party, that's why I didn't debate. I asked 1 question, which date is ours? Her autopilot answered June 12. The jeweler, asked directly, confirmed 2 orders with identical language and different completion dates. R, dragged by gravity in a boutique bag, admitted he commissioned first. I didn't need a monologue. The room witnessed a geometry lesson. The refund path unlocked because I used their words, not mine. Misrepresentation for the ring. Duplicate SKU for the design. Policy conflict and non-matching address for insurance. Each vendor recognized a clause they'd written to protect themselves and applied it to protect me. The financer froze interest. The venue released a partial per misconduct. The insurer flagged the policy against claims. No adjectives, just exhibits. And the ethics piece I promised. I didn't share faces, I didn't drop names, I didn't feed chaos for sport. I protected chain of custody, I returned the ring, I couriered her belongings with a manifest, and I posted one dull sentence about deposits resolving. Stewardship, not spectacle. If you ever need to do this, keep it librarian clean. Ask clearly. Verify gently. Let artifacts talk. People will try to drag you into performance. Stay in procedure.